What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, talking today about gaming in 2019, because this year has certainly had some very highs and some epic lows, and it seems like a lot of people on the internet now are kind of saying that this might be one of the worst years in gaming, and I don't think that they're fully wrong. Now before we get into that, real quickly I want to announce that I'm doing a console giveaway since I just broke 160,000 subscribers. I'm going to be explaining all the rules of the giveaway and how you can enter it at the end of the video just so I don't clutter up this intro. Now, let me actually blow your mind. Think about all the massive projects that have already been released in 2019 that have blown up, been hated on, and died. Think about things like, just in this year, Anthem came out 9 months ago. It released, people were kind of confused as to why it was so bad, the developers left, and it failed to even get any patches. That was only 9 months ago, but this isn't just a standalone case. Think about things like Mortal Kombat 11. When this came out, people were very excited and playing it for a couple months, but even now it seems like pretty much a bunch of the fans have moved on unless they're the hardcore gaming aficionados. Same goes with, in this year we finally got Dead or Alive 6, an official giant sequel which managed to come out and fizzle to pieces. A lot of what's been going on in 2019 is games that have only a small amount of hype actually around them, and by the time gamers really get a chance to pick it up, they don't really care. If you look on something like Metacritic, the games that have the highest scores for all of this year have, for most part, actually been remakes. Things like, well, I mean, let's just look at something like the Link's Awakening remake we got, or Resident Evil 2. While these are both kind of just fundamentally new games, they're built on old bricks. One of the other things that people keep talking about a lot is things like Final Fantasy VIII Remastered. All of these remakes are getting very high sales, lots and lots of attention, and people seem very happy with them, but for the most part, the new ideas, the big projects that typically get people talking the most, have completely flopped. Like, here's another one. Apex Legends came out in February. Remember, this was the Battle Royale that was supposedly going to kill every other Battle Royale. People were just actually watching millions of hours of it on Twitch, saying, finally a game to topple Fortnite, and yet here we are, it's all but forgotten. It's crazy to me that in 2019, we have had some good stuff, but so much of it has really lacked staying power. But why is that? My theory is that a lot of the things that we were most excited for have actually been delayed. One of the problems that's definitely been persistent throughout 2019 that personally has definitely kind of aggravated me the most is so many things have been pushed around or flat out just moved to a different bracket. Things like Doom Eternal should absolutely be out, but it got a massive delay. Things like this are very disappointing. I wanted to see that new Animal Crossing, and yet, once again, it's been pushed back. There's just been a lack of surprises. It's not that anything in 2019 has been particularly awful, it just seems like less things have actually popped out to say, hey, remember what made gaming great. And to me, this is a problem. Now, this isn't, well, the death of the gaming industry. I actually managed to pull up some sales numbers. In just 2019, so far, they have made $27.9 billion in profit. Billion with a B, and that's just the gaming industry. Now, I don't have a breakdown as to how much of that is cell phone games and how much of it is real console experiences, but I'm betting that this year has had a lot of very big AAA releases, things like The Division 2 and all sorts of random spin-offs and sequels, Devil May Cry 5, things that managed to sell way above their typical bracket. And to me, this is cool, but it also sort of highlights the underlying fundamental thing that I think 2019 is going to be remembered for, which is a gap year. I hate saying that because it is kind of considered an insult in the industry, but we have to kind of admit the fact that nothing in 2019 is even designed to really shock us. These things are just meant to keep us happy and entertained until the next generation. This usually happens, and I really kind of hate this because it can feel a little bit like a drought, where all the game developers are definitely not slacking off, but they're hard at work on tech we haven't seen yet. These projects, whenever they eventually get seen by the light of day, are probably going to be super big and incredibly fun to play, but that's probably, again, late 2020 or maybe even early 2021. This kind of weird gray area of the next generation and hype that doesn't exist yet is a massive disappointment. But speaking of disappointments and big letdowns, I also think that there's been a little bit of a problem in 2019 with an excess of expectation. A lot of things that have been talked about have kind of been overhyped to their own detriment. Think about things like Death Stranding. Death Stranding was definitely talked about like it was going to be this revolutionary masterpiece that would actually change the way we thought about games in general. And it came out and got a bunch of like 85s and a couple like 90s. It's definitely a very good game. But people thought that it was going to be getting 100s. I mean, because it's Hideo Kojima doing his first fully solo project, there was this sort of predication that it would probably get like a 98 on Metacritic. And it's still a fantastic game, but people, for the most part, seem to keep thinking that these games are going to completely rework the system. I definitely think it's kind of funny to watch people hating on The Outer Worlds. Honestly, I think that this game is easily one of the best RPGs that's been released all year, maybe even in the last 5 years. It is that special. It is that freaking fun. But people are kind of just crapping on it because it got an 84 at one point on Metacritic. And people are sort of forgetting that A, reviews are subjective, scores can be very random at times, and additionally, we have to kind of acknowledge the fact that 2019 is definitely not trash. There are some dumpster fires. I've definitely played some games this year that are so freaking awful that I can't wait to make my worst games of 2019 list, but for the most part, I think that this has been an alright year. There has been some stuff that's come out that's been exceptionally fun. Something I really like is that we have gotten some nice gadgets, some new innovations in controller technology, things like honestly, one of my very favorite things in all of 2019 has been my Switch Lite. I play this thing so much, and I carry it when I travel now because it is such a nice little smart way to game on the go. Like, I could turn this on right now. I'm playing a new character. I just started a new character in Diablo 3 because it's a freaking handheld. The fact that I can now, I just made a new witch doctor, and the fact that I can level up on such a tiny little micro console with an extended battery life, these are nice changes. They're not the things that are going to get headlines. They're not the things that are going to completely rework gaming, but I think that 2019 is unfortunately just that year. It's the time when people get a chance to coil back and prepare to strike, and that sucks. It's good enough, but I definitely wanted more. When it comes to the final year of perhaps things like the PlayStation 4 and the fact that we're very likely going to have the Xbox 2 very, very soon, I wish that we had more stuff right now. I wish that we had things like The Last of Us Part 2. I wish that we had maybe Halo Infinite now. Things that could have really made 2019 an extra special, extra memorable time period instead of just a little lull before a bigger bang. I mean, it's hard not to think about the fact that while there have certainly been some very special games like Sekiro Shadows Die Twice and, well, honestly, the expansion that we got for Final Fantasy XIV, which is easily one of the greatest stories I've read all year, it's hard not to just kind of be a little bit unsatisfied and want a tiny bit more. Something extra on the plate. What's going to happen? I'm actually a little bit nervous at this point because there have been a lot of projects that have sort of gone silent. Things like Deep Down. That was a game that was talked about years ago and has completely vanished. In 2019, it's all but forgotten. Think about all the things that have just sort of been announced and slipped out of the cracks. We're in this weird time period now where I think 2019 is sort of the year of the quiet cancellation, and I really wish it wasn't. But now, I guess we just kind of have to sit and wait. So really, if it comes down to it, if we're just trying to do the math, or if we're really just trying to sit here and actually calculate whether or not 2019 was a good year, I'm going to say it's a meh. It's not terrible, it's not great, but it's all we got. Thanks so much for watching, gamers. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and keep dreaming. Okay, so real quickly, here are the rules on the console giveaway. First of all, thank you everybody for helping me break 160,000 subscribers. That is nuts. I want to keep doing giveaways every 10,000 subscribers from now on. So at 170, 180, 190, 200,000, we're going to keep giving away consoles. The console giveaway is a link that's going to be on my Twitter, twitter.com/DreamcastGuy, and it's a link where basically all you gotta do is click, I think you make an account on this website called like Gleamio, and I'm going to show all of it there. And basically, you're going to enter, I'm going to select a random winner in 1 month, so the beginning of December, and we're going to basically, you're going to be able to choose whether you want an Xbox One, a PlayStation 4, or a Nintendo Switch. Whatever you want, I'll have it mailed to your house. Sound fun? Cool. Well, thanks a bunch, and you guys rock. Keep dreaming. I'm gonna go back to drinking this delicious, weird blue energy drink. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, you know, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.